Happy Wednesday morning to you, Crosspoint Alliance Church. Top of the morning to you, although it's Tuesday afternoon here. Trust that you're doing well, resting in Jesus and enjoying Him. It is so beautiful here in Ohio right now. It's incredibly gorgeous. The leaves are turning. I know you're seeing it just like I am, but this is pretty special, and I hope that you're enjoying it if you live here. But hey, I'm going to get into some things for today on missional living, and then I want to talk about some in-house matters here at the church. So last week we started talking about missional living, and we kind of pushed into the idea that we believers are now missionaries in our own culture. Anyone that has half a brain knows the world has changed in the last generation and a half. This is not the world I grew up in. This is not the world you grew up in. And it is the case more so now than ever, and will continue being more so the case, that we are missionaries here in North America. So the scriptures that I'm kind of basing a lot of this on, very simple Sermon on the Mount material. I'm going to read just one of the verses that I read last time, just to kind of reorient us. Jesus, talking to his disciples, says, Matthew 5:14, you are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Light. That's our identity. We are lights. And as missionaries in our own culture, we are not in positions of power. We are not in positions of control. So, with that said, I want to start today investigating some hindrances to missional living, And these are in part based upon some of my observations through the years and some of the things that I'm hearing from some of the leaders that I'm leading into. But I'm going to give two today, and in subsequent weeks we'll get into a few more. So the two today, what keeps us from being lights in North America? Well, I would say one hindrance is it's like a rule, maybe unspoken, or a presupposition, is that all roads must lead to the building. Okay? All roads must lead to the church building. And so if there's not a clear pipeline to the church building, so if my efforts and my being light doesn't directly take people to the building, then it might not be worth my time. All right? So that's based on a presupposition that ministry can happen only in the building. Now, ministry happens in this church building, on this church property, and a lot of it. But this is not the base of kingdom operations for the whole world. And another thing is that sometimes we might think that the goal is to get people into this building. And if I can do that, fantastic. But if not, then I'm just going to kind of hold off, because if there's not a clear way to get people to the building, the church building, then it's just not a good investment, or it might not be where I need to put my time. That's a hindrance. And let's just combat it this way. Let's suppose that the base of operations is simply where you live, work, and play, that is the base of operations. And let's suppose there's no rule that says all roads lead to the church building. Well, okay, the boundaries have just fallen off. Now, if the base of operations is where I am, and I can plan and strategize and pray right where I am without having to get everything pointed to the building, I just have a lot more freedom right there. That's hindrance number one. And would say it again, that the hindrance is thinking that all roads must lead to the church building. And if we demolish that, and we just destroy that and take it down and say, no, the world has just opened up. Hindrance number two, I do not have professional training. I'm not trained to do this. So let's go back to the beginning of Christianity, back to the beginning where the men that Jesus called were not professionals. They weren't educated. They're pretty plain, ordinary men just being used of the Lord. And what's more, in one generation, the gospel goes from Jerusalem to Rome. In one generation. And there were no professionals, full-time employees of the church. There were the apostles, but it's amazing what can happen if someone is listening to the Lord and taking direction from the Lord as to how to do ministry and how to live missionally where you live, work, and play. The skies can just open up. But the idea that I don't have professional training is actually rooted in a false idea about the priesthood of the believer, meaning I need a professional between me and God. And if I don't have a professionally trained minister or a professionally trained parachurch leader, then I don't know that I can trust myself to do this. Here's the deal. You are a priest of God. If you are a Christian, you're a priest of the Most High God. You say, you don't know. Like, I'm not. You are. You are by definition. You're a priest of the Most High God, which means you have the capacity to hear from the Spirit. You have the capacity to have Him, you actually have the tools to hear Him give you strategy for how to live missionally in your neighborhood, in your workplace, and wherever you play, your recreational area. So those are two hindrances. Hindrance number one is I got to have a clean pipeline to the church building. If I don't, I can't minister. And number two, I'm not a professional. Both of those are wrong. And if we lay those things down and we do not regard those as rules, we actually have an easier go of it. There's less red tape. And I think sometimes the red tape is just red tape that we've accumulated on our own. You are the light of the world. So those are two hindrances. In subsequent weeks, I'm going to get into more hindrances. But again, we're attacking the mind. We're attacking belief systems, not in an unbiblical way. But we're coming against lies. We're coming against beliefs that are just untrue. Okay? So, I do want to talk a little bit about an in-house matter. We had an elders meeting last night, Monday night, and we looked at some data that we have. Do you remember saying, we just want children? Want to see children running through the church building? We got it. We have, to my count, 20 children that count Cross Point Alliance Church as their church home. When I say 20, I'm talking 10 and under. 20. Now, they're not all here at the same time. If they were, and sometimes a whole bunch of them show up, our children's ministry leaders almost get run over. So Amy Noble is on the front line. She's running the nursery, and she does 0 to 4. Okay? Now, she has helpers right now, but what she really wants to do is begin to educate and train and teach the 3 and 4-year-olds in the nursery, okay? Because they're not ready to go to children's church just because of the divide. She needs a little bit of help, but the deaconesses do not want moms of small children to feel obligated to go to the nursery, because this is a place where the vision of the deaconesses, and specifically of Amy, is that you come and others are going to care for your children right here so you can concentrate on worship and the word and fellowship. So we're putting out a call. We need helpers in the nursery, and our ask is 1 Sunday a month. 1 Sunday a month. This call is being extended to those women who do not have little children. You're not bringing children to church. Can you give up 1 Sunday a month to serve in the nursery? And you will not be working with 3 and 4-year-olds. You'll be working with 0 to 2. And Amy tells me that there are helpers there that are doing a lot of the energetic work and rolling around on the floor with the kids. And all we need is someone to sit and to keep an eye on the little ones and maybe hold little ones ages 0 to 2. Please contact Amy Noble. We want to stay in front of this thing, and we've got some work to do, but I want to remind us that there are some problems that are delightful, stressful but delightful, and this is one of them. And we care a lot about little children, and we want to make sure we're taking care of them well, and we also want to resource our leaders. So this is the first front that we're looking at, and we've got two women, Natalie and Miss Jackie, that are doing children's church, alternating month to month, doing a fantastic job. And our teens are enjoying partnering with Freshwater. Everything's going well there. They're enjoying it, getting to know the kids there. And we're just keeping an eye on that situation. But again, coming back to the ask is, would you be willing to serve one Sunday a month and look out and watch and take care of kids ages 0 to 2? That's the ask. And please contact Amy Noble. We're going to start beating this drum. And I think we've got the resources. I think we've got all kinds of people who could do that. You'll be resourced appropriately. So, yeah. Fantastic. All right, let me bless you, Crosspoint. Lord bless you and keep you. Lord make his face shine upon you, be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen. Love you, Crosspoint. See you Sunday.